I do not like that one bit. Where's Warren? Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about your weight loss expectations. What are they? Right? A lot of times when we approach weight loss, we never really reflect on what we're actually expecting is going to happen. And that is a big mistake because your head your entire life has been filled with a lot of ridiculous expectations about how your weight loss is going to go. And those expectations of how you think they're going to go really are one of the main things that doom you to failure, right? When you think about losing weight, you have been trained by the diet industry to think about it a very specific way. And you think about it basically in terms of how fast will I lose weight once I start? And so you're thinking to yourself, probably 2 to 3 to 4 pounds a week is probably some number you have in your head. And in your mind, you also have a straight line concept, meaning you're going to start up here at your highest weight. You're going to start doing whatever plan you do as clearly and strictly as you can. And you're going to get yourself down to your goal weight. And it's going to be a consistent straight line of success down to your goal weight. And I think this is so damaging, right? First off is the speed at which you probably think you're going to lose weight. It has been overstated your entire life, literally your entire life. You have had ridiculous expectations of rates of weight loss pumped into your brain so that now when you think about losing weight, even if you feel like, well, I don't even want to do anything extreme, just 2 pounds a week would be fine. 2 pounds a week is a lot of weight to lose. You got to do a lot of stuff to lose 2 pounds a week consistently. And some people, back to another thing a lot of people don't know and affects expectations, is that there are fast and slow weight losers out there, right? We are all different and we all lose weight at different rates and speed, even if we do the same thing. And you can look up any metabolic lab study that will prove this, that, you know, they put a group of people in here, they track their calories exactly the same. And a month, 3 months later, they all lose wildly different amounts of weight in that period of time. And so there's another factor. So again, a lot of times when we go into these expectations that we're going to lose, you know, again, this consistent fast rate of weight loss until we reach our goal weight, we go into it with that mindset. And as soon as we bump up against reality of the first week, we didn't lose any weight or we lost a pound. Second week, oh, I only lost a pound. Oh my God, this isn't working. Right? It's going too slow. And those expectations of what we think we're going to achieve, when we run into reality, we feel like it's not working. But so much of how you feel like it's going comes down to the expectations you have. And the example I like to use is like thinking of college, right? College is a long-term commitment to something, right? You're making a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10-year commitment to an area to get a big goal. And you set aside the time to do it. And so when you go to college, your goal and your focus is really on the ultimate goal. And of course, you have this longer term plan for how to get there. And when you go to college, you're expecting it's going to be hard. Right? There's going to be challenges, there's going to be difficulties. Some things go smooth, some things aren't. You need a support system. And that's why we go to college. And you make this commitment to a time period to really master something. And so the point I'm making is when you go to college, you're not in the first semester of your freshman year saying, oh my God, this isn't working. I don't know. Say you went for an accounting degree. I don't know how to do accounting yet. I don't know how to do accounting. I've been here for 6 weeks and I still don't know how to do accounting. Right? Well, you don't do that because you have a different paradigm. You have a different sense and expectation of what you are going to experience. And it's a longer time frame where you're not just always looking at each day saying, do I know accounting? Do I know accounting? You're not measured against that. You're looking at each incremental improvement that ultimately is going to get you to that goal. And when it comes to weight, we don't do that at all. We're always trying to rush the process. And the best way I can explain it as well is that the diet marketing is very much like get rich quick schemes. And it's a very similar psychology of how they look to manipulate you. And a lot of it is built around this impatience, your desire for instant results. But the instant results just really aren't true without some real extreme situation, which most people are not willing to do. Right. So yes, you can get, again, it's a simple dynamic that the most dramatic results are from the most extreme processes. It's always that way. So the fastest way to lose weight technically is just to stop eating completely. Like you completely just stop eating. That's the most extreme thing you can do. Right. And it'll probably give you the fastest weight loss. However, you can't do it for long. Right? You got to eat at some point. So it's a short-term plan. So again, a lot of times these expectations, they're setting us up for failure because we're only fixated on how fast we can lose weight. And we have these expectations of fast weight loss. And when we run into weight loss that's slower or not happening, again, we look at it in the context of a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and we quit. And there's a great quote that I want to share with you that's called, it says that most people overestimate how much weight they can lose in a month and underestimate how much weight they can lose in a year. And I think this really speaks to this, that the diet industry is so conditioned you on short-term weight loss, how fast can you lose the weight, that you don't even have a way of thinking about your weight that's long-term. Because, and it's so, I'll make a point of just to prove what I'm talking about. You're so focused on short-term weight loss that you don't even realize the real goal that you want is not to lose weight. I know you think your main goal is you just want to lose weight. You think about it all day long. You say it a million times a day. I just want to lose a weight, but that's not really your goal. Your goal actually is to live at your goal weight, for the rest of your life on your autopilot. That's your real goal weight, or that's your real goal, not just to lose the weight. You've lost weight in the past, right? And then you put it back on. You're not happy you lost the weight. You're upset that you put it back on. So again, there's a shift of focus that happens here. And I think this impacts your expectations as well. But the first step in getting to that is to realize the expectations you have about your weight loss are, I will say, they're crazy. They're crazy. It was literally just like if you had a friend who was like falling into the trance of a get rich quick scheme and they're telling you about it, you would probably say, wait, it sounds a little too good to be true. I don't think so. It sounds too good to be true. It probably is. Right. And so if we take that approach with weight loss and we realize, okay, we've been manipulated forever, your whole life, literally all of us, to think about weight loss as a short-term thing. How fast can we do it? And if we can realize that and then say, you know what, it is true. I can't just focus on how much weight I'm going to lose this month. I really need to start thinking how much weight I'm going to lose this year, this 5 years, this 10 years. And now all of a sudden you start giving yourself the space and the time to succeed. Because again, if we go back to the college thing, if every week I'm popping, do you not do accounting yet? Do you not do accounting yet? Oh, it's still not working. Oh, you're still going to do it. You don't even know how to do accounting yet. Oh my God, it's been 8 weeks and you still don't know how to do accounting. Right. And so again, as soon as we put this short time frame on it, everything feels more intense. And I'll give you one last metaphor just to prove this point, that dieting basically has you thinking about your weight loss similarly like to a sprint, right? If you think about a sprint, it's a short race, right? It's a short race where you give it 100% and it's got to be perfect, right? You can't win a sprint if you make a mistake. You trip a little bit in the beginning, you've lost that race, okay? The only thing that wins a sprint is perfection. And so you have been conditioned to think about your weight loss and your diets like a sprint. Like it's like you start, you do this really difficult thing for a little while, and then you get to your goal weight. And this way of thinking about it really sets you up for failure because again, your expectations are, it's going to be really hard. I got to be perfect and I got to get fast results. That's how I got to do this. That's the only thing that's worth it. And when you hear the concept of slower weight loss, I'm not interested in that. Right. But when you take a step back and reflect on it, of course, what you want is the slower weight loss in the sense that you want to live at your goal weight. This isn't about just losing weight. You do not want to lose weight and then put it back on. I know that. You want to stay at your goal weight. But staying at your goal weight is a long-term process, right? Getting back to the college thing. You want to go to college and you want to get a degree. You're going to have the degree for the rest of your life. So if you can start thinking about your weight, instead of how can I do this week, this month, you start thinking, how can I master this in my life? How can I get to my goal weight and stay there comfortably for the rest of my life? That's what I'm obsessed with. That's what I'm focused on. And if you focus on that, make that your main goal, it instantly shifts your expectations. You instantly have some space to improve and grow and evolve and make the changes that need to be made in order to get to your goal weight and then stay there. So I hope you give this some thought, because if you're chasing these subconscious expectations of really fast weight loss with really extreme plans that you have to be perfect with, it's a very, very tight rope to walk. It's very difficult, which is to say that it's really not your fault. It's not that you're lacking willpower. That's not why you're struggling with the weight primarily. It's primarily the way you're thinking about it. And if you change how you're thinking about it, it has a residual outsized effect, exponential effect on the whole process. So give that some thought. And if you want to go deeper into another way of thinking about it, click the link in my bio, go get the hypnosis session I give you. It's free. Watch the video I made for you. It's free. Read the emails I send you, the goal weight quiz I give you. All that stuff's free, and it will help you. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm a little bit late today. It happens sometimes, but it's all for good. I was working away, chipping away at this old workbook. And then the workbook and the book are kind of related in a weird way. The workbook I'm working on is really being refined to make the book much more refined. Yvette says, tracking calories gave me a wake-up call. I was eating a lot. Well, I'm glad you wrote that, Yvette. I think people really need to hear that. That's one of those things. Oh my goodness gracious. I don't know. I don't know what we would call it, but it's like, this is the norm. Most people, if I were you, I'd put yourself in this group, because I've seen this is the vast majority of people I've ever worked with. And I've worked with 6,000 private weight loss sessions I've done. So I've done a lot of this, and I work with extremely smart, successful, intelligent people. And almost always, they're almost always eating more than they think they are. And that is such an important point. I want you all to think about that for a second, because this is so crucial. Because in your mind, if you're like, I don't understand, I'm hardly even eating anything. I'm hardly even eating anything, and I'm not losing weight. You cannot believe that, folks. Right now, I'm not saying I'm any different from you. I don't believe myself. Human brains are not good at accurately estimating how many calories you're eating every day, especially in this environment. So, if you are sitting around, if you don't track your calories every day, if you don't do that and you think that you have a good idea how many calories you're eating, there's a very good chance you do not, and that you are bullshitting yourself into living in an illusion, in a fantasy land that brings you directly to the door of, no matter what I do, I can't lose weight. I don't understand what's going on. That's where that brings you to, right? You start believing, it's not the calories. I hardly even eat anything. I eat really healthy. So it's not the calories. It's something's wrong here. That is I swear, the core mistake almost everyone makes. So I'm proud of you, Yvette, for tracking the calories. Now, I'm not a fan of tracking calories forever. So I just want to make that clear. I think tracking calories for a week or two is almost always a very enlightening experience. As Yvette said, it was a wake-up call. And it should be really inspiring, because I know you say, oh shit, you ate 2,800 calories. Oh my God, can't believe it. Okay, I can sting a little bit. I get that part, but I'd much rather have a little bit of sting and be in the real world, where I'm no longer saying, oh, no matter what I do, I can't lose weight. Instead saying, oh shit, I kind of eat a lot of extra calories and I didn't realize it. Oh, there's a lot of calories in that. Oh, I've been eating a lot more calories than I thought. Great. Now we can get to work, right? But we can't get to work and be like, oh, no, it can't be the calories. I hardly eat anything. I eat so clean. I eat so healthy. I cannot tell you the number of times I've heard that, and it's just not true, right? Now, occasionally it can be true, but I bet it's not for you. So don't get mad at me. I'm just telling you what I've experienced, but most people wildly underestimate the calories they consume. Most people, right? And if you're not tracking things, you are absolutely underestimating. I can almost guarantee. So great job of it. And now you get to the work of changing those calories. That's what I've been working on a lot, is the old calorie blueprint. And it is exciting. It is exciting. I will tell you, I've spent now longer than I thought, as everything is, right? Planning fallacy. You start a project and you think it's going to be way shorter than you think it's going to be. This workbook's been more, but it's all going to be worth it. Corey Coy, what's up? What's up, Jen? How's it going? Corey Coy says, what do you think of supplements? I think supplements are bullshit. I don't take any supplements. I don't plan on taking any supplements. I reserve the right to change my mind if I choose to in the future, if I come across some new information. But the way I think about supplements is I think it's bullshit. And I would much rather seek to get my supplements from my food. So I am very focused and fixated on nutrient density and nutrient variety. That's pretty much my core, one of my core eating strategies is I want foods that are nutrient dense and I want a variety of those nutrients. And so for me, I want to get a variety of vegetables, fruits, greens, beans, whole grains, proteins, things like that. Okay. And that's kind of my core strategy. Now, that being said, I think if I eat that way, I don't need supplements. And I just think supplements, I'm not saying there's not a reason for them. I used to take iron supplements back in the day when I was iron deficient, and that kind of helped it. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of supplements. I would much rather take that money and invest it in real food. I think you get so much more benefit out of real food. And I don't believe in supplements in the sense that I don't think scientists know as much as they think they know about nutrition and how the body works. I mean, they just discovered a hormone in your body that helps reduce your appetite, GLP-1. Just discovered that. It's one hormone they found. So I do not have faith in science that they have unlocked the master supplement that makes you thrive. I don't believe that. And so I would much rather eat the way humans have been eating for millions of years on Earth. And I would much rather eat a whole natural food diet and put my focus, energy, and money into that. So, and that served me very well. But that's kind of how I think about it. It says, I was delusional for 3 months. I wasn't tracking and only lost 2 pounds. So I decided to track. Vet, I'm so proud of you. I really am so proud of you because it's like, I'm telling you, there's so many pitfalls along the weight loss path. Most of them are bullshit in the sense that you should already be prepared for them. It's like, I don't know, like college is like that. I know I use college as an example a lot, but you could use college. You could use like a trade program. You went through a craft program or whatever you may have gone through in your life. That was like a long-term commitment, but it's the mindset I'm talking about. You know, you go to college and you're like, oh, I didn't do good on the test. You know, you diagnose it. So why didn't you do good on the test? Oh, because of this. Okay, next time I'm going to tweak it and fix it. You know, and when it comes to weight loss, it's such an all or nothing, just wing it, Hail Mary. Hopefully this time it'll work. And it's so goofy that the diets, I can't even, I've been so triggered by diets this week. I don't want to even go into that path, but diets make me insane because it's so stupid that it hurts my brain at this point. And I know a lot of you are, you know, not of that mindset just because you constantly have been conditioned to think about weight loss in terms of diets, but dieting doesn't work. I mean, you know this. God, this is the crazy part. You know, dieting doesn't work. There's literally, of all the diets that have ever been on the planet, there's not one diet that's the best one of them all. Right? What diet's going to help people lose weight? You know, I mean, any of them will work when you're following it. Like if you're doing it, yeah, okay, the diet will help you lose weight, but what diet can you do long term? None. And so anyways, it's like we do these things and we just wing it. And we just, oh, I'm going to stop eating carbs. Well, no, I'm going to track every calorie. Oh, I'm going to cut my calories down to this or whatever. And it's like you do this one thing and then you give it a week or 2 weeks. You know, God bless you, Vet. 3 months. Look at you. At least you stuck with it. Okay, great job. And you know, you looked at it logically, Vet, right? Again, data over drama. You say, huh, this is weird. I've only lost 2 pounds in 3 months. What's going on? You know, now again, I'm not saying there can't be outlier examples, but you're probably not an outlier. You have to stop thinking that you're an outlier. We're constantly fed stories of outliers. But most people, the reason you're not losing weight, you're never going to believe it, is because you're consuming too many calories. Your weight is a reflection of your calories, your average calorie consumption. What do you think it is? It's my hormones. Oh yeah? I'll see your hormones and I'll throw you in jail and control your calories and I'll fuck your hormones. You'll still lose weight. Fuck your genetics. You're still going to lose weight. Let me throw you in my weight loss jail and control your calories. What situation is going to keep calories on you if I reduce your calories down? I know it's an extreme example, but I'm just trying to prove the point. And again, there are real challenges too, by the way. Everyone's got their own kind of unique situation. And some of those challenges are physical challenges. Okay. So I'm not saying that there aren't things that can impact your weight and the rate and speed in which you lose it. There are. But ultimately, your control pedal, the accelerator, gas brake pedal of your weight is your calorie consumption. So if you're not losing weight, you should look at your calories and do not believe yourself. Do not believe yourself when some part of your brain says, we hardly even eat. I don't know why we're not losing weight. Do not believe that part of your brain. You're not losing weight because you're consuming more calories than you think you are. Wouldn't you rather think that anyways? Shit. Give it a year or two of thinking that way and test it out in different ways and then see. But no, that's in the game. Do you understand the difference? Do you understand? Do you get this one, folks? Because this is one of the biggest ones. And it always leads to, no matter what I do, I can't lose weight. If I hear that one more time, I'm going to lose my mind because I have never seen that. And I work with extreme people. I work with very hardworking, focused, action-oriented, perfectionist, overthinking people. Those are my clients. And you think the first time they try and lose weight is with me? Obviously not. I'm the last person you come to. And literally, I'm literally the last person you come to. I'm the person you come to when all the diets don't work, when all the workout plans don't work, when all the shit you've tried doesn't work. Then there I am. I'm the final boss of weight loss. I wish I'd be the first one for you all, but it's just the path people have to go, I guess. So these people are smart. They've tried different things, but again, one of the most common psychological challenges to losing weight is really recognizing that your weight's a reflection of your calorie consumption, really absorbing that. And I guess it can be scary at first. I'm not really sure why, because at least knowing that you're in the real world and now you can make real decisions. But once you accept that, I think the whole process changes and becomes easier, I think, because again, you can change all your behaviors and all this other stuff. And anyways, but yeah, if anyone has any questions about weight loss, feel free to ask them. Whatever you're struggling with, I'm happy to talk about it. For My Life says inflammation, insulin resistance. Yep. Yeah. Those are, inflammation and insulin resistance. There's a lot of things. I mean, there's a ton of things people can have that they're dealing with that can slow their results down. And there's no question about that, by the way. Menopause, Hashimoto's, thyroid issues, being on steroids, being on certain medications, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetic, pre-diabetic. I mean, there's a lot of things that can slow you might lose weight slower than someone else. So again, not arguing that, but even those people can still lose weight. I've never heard of any condition that would prevent you from losing weight when you restrict calories and lower them. You would have to let me know what that is. Even inflammation. I don't give a shit. Bring your inflammation to my weight loss jail. Okay. Bring your inflammation over here. I'll throw you in my weight loss jail and restrict your calories and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. What do you think is going to happen? Would you like to make a bet if you think you're going to stay the same weight? Bet you won't. I'll bet anyone on the planet. I will bet you $1,000 if I put you in my weight loss jail that I'll make you lose weight. I don't give a shit what situation you got. Let's see. Not to be a jerk. And I will take, you don't have to come to my jail. We can save ourselves the time, the trouble, and the money. Watch the show Alone. You ever watch the show Alone? These people go out into the wilderness, some random, like completely isolated wilderness. And I don't know, maybe there'll be 15 of them and they all live out there. And it's a contest to see who can stay out there the longest. And really what it is, it's a starvation contest. Right? There's no food out there. And so you watch these people instantaneously start losing weight. And literally most of the time the show's decided at the end, because, if you get too thin and there's a health issue, they'll pull you out of the thing. And half the time it seems like the winner ultimately is decided because they pull someone out of there because they got too thin, So again, if you watch that show and you still think that you have a physical situation that'll prevent you from losing weight, yeah, maybe it'll be slower. Who gives a shit? I that part, you have no sympathy. Of course, we all want instant results, but I don't give a shit. Oh, no, Jim, I have inflammation, so I can only lose a pound a week, and that's really slow. This is painfully, dreadfully slow. Okay, well, what's the alternative? What's the alternative? I don't, you know what I mean? I don't, what do you want? Yeah, I want fast results too. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have patience for that. People are so impatient to lose the weight. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, there's real things obviously in your body that affect you too. But again, you have to recognize those and sort of setting the right proper expectations for your situation, I think is just so crucial during this process. And I think most of you are going into your weight loss thing with absolutely fucking goofy expectations of what you're expecting. It is goofy to the extreme. Based on what? What are you basing your weight loss expectations on? That's what I'd like to ask. What? I mean, the golden answer would be my experience in the past when I lost weight. Start there, right? Then adjust for age, adjust for your body, adjust for your lifestyle, right? So, I don't lose weight like I used to. When I was 20, I do just skip breakfast and I lose 20 pounds. To talk like that, right? That's not true. Okay. And you're making things harder for yourself when you talk like that, but okay, whatever. And now I'm 50 and now it takes me forever. Okay, fine. Right. Yeah, you get 30 years of lifestyle, 30 years of fucking with your body. You know what I mean? 30 years of, issues going on there, you got to account for. Yeah, they're real. But so what? So what? So you're 50. So I lose weight. Oh, half is slow. A quarter is slow. I don't give a shit. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares how long it takes you? Because what's the longest it's going to take you? If you lose a pound a week, how long is it going to take you to get your goal weight? Year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? Great. Who gives a shit? Now you're at your goal weight for the rest of your life. So who cares? If you're 50 years old and you live for another 50 years, if it takes you 5 years to get your goal weight, who gives a fuck? There's 45 years living at your goal weight. I'll make that trade all day long. See, this is the college metaphor. You know what I mean? This is the college concept of investing years into mastering something so you can enjoy it for the rest of your life. And no one is taught that with weight. With weight, it's just this casual, and it is casual, by the way. I know it feels intense in the moment, but it's a casual commitment. Your weight loss, okay, here we go. I don't get into this a lot. For most of you, your commitment to your weight loss is casual at best. It's not casual. It doesn't feel casual for that couple days or that couple weeks. You actually, you do keto plan or you do some dumb shit. But even that's a casual commitment. I mean, you're 1, 2, 3 mistakes away from just quitting. That's a completely different level of commitment than you had at college, right? When you invest in shit tons of money, shit tons of commitment and focus and energy going into that. You're way more committed. And when it comes to your weight, most of you are, again, don't take it wrong. It's not even a judgment. It's not a criticism. So what? Thank you. Sorry. It's not, it doesn't even matter. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it is what it is though. Because again, dieters fucking themselves up in the head. Oh my God, I care. I've done everything I can to lose weight. Oh, have you? Have you? Everything? Really? Everything? Everything? I've never found that to be true. I know people that feel like they've done everything to lose weight and haven't, but I've never seen that to be true. So, and part of it is the commitment. Jamelin says, yep, we mess up over, don't log it and disassociate that it didn't happen. Yeah, exactly, Jamelin. Yeah, we were talking about, again, the being aware of what you're eating. Yeah, you're literally, it's a strategy. Denial, oop, that didn't happen. Disassociate and that it didn't happen. Yeah, disassociate and didn't happen. I mean, that's one of the most common eating things we do. We make over 200 food decisions a day, and it's easy to make a bad food choice of eating too much or too many calories, not even realizing it. A lot of times you're not even realizing it, A. And then B, A is really important though. A lot of times you really don't realize how many calories in the food you're eating. Like you literally don't know unless you have dedicated some amount of time in your life to just kind of tracking your calories. It doesn't have to be tracking calories for a year. You take a week or two and you track your calories, look at what you're eating, look at serving sizes, look what this sandwich I usually eat, what's in it? Let's break it down. What's the calorie content of this whole thing? What's the calorie content of the typical things I'm eating in a specific way? If you've never done that, you've got no fucking clue how many calories you're eating. It's way more than you think. I promise you. And I know you think you're aware. This is the hardest part of change as a human, is getting through your mental block that you think you know what you're reading, that you think you're reading well. And when you're not. And again, if you can't see the problem, you can't fix the problem. You know? So, yeah, that's so true. Disassociate. So true. Jen says, get blood work before supplementing. Real Whole Foods. Yeah, Real Whole Foods is the stuff. But yeah, if you're going to do supplements, I would suppose I would want to, I mean, it depends how serious you get into them. You know what I mean? I take a multivitamin, whatever. What's that going to do? Like, it can't hurt, I don't think. I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt you. I just don't think, it goes out of my character anyways. I don't like approaching my weight and my health with simpleton solutions. Like to me, supplements, now I'm just gonna take a supplement. If it's really easy, like in that way, I just don't trust it. I don't trust it. So I certainly trust real food that we've been eating for millions of years over supplements all day long. Right. And again, I'm not saying there's not situations for supplements, but yeah. So if you're going to go down the supplement path, yeah, if you get blood work and then take the supplements, then test and see if it's fixing it, all power to you. Great. But again, I would put that last on the list. You know what I mean? I would wait to do that. And I'm not, maybe I'll do that someday. I don't know. I'm not completely saying no, but certainly there's plenty of other things to do before that. I would certainly put my supplement money into real food every single time. And once I got all the real food bought and paid for and all the rest of it, maybe, I guess I don't, but that's me, what's up? Jen says, how soon after waking up should I listen to the morning hypnosis? And I know I should know this. I mean, I always suggest it doesn't matter, but within a half hour, I think is a good number, right? So in Program Yourself, then one of the parts of the program is every morning for 8 weeks, there's a 5-minute hypnosis session to kind of start your day on the right path. Again, the first answer is just listen to it whenever you get a chance. Okay. So the first thing is we want to just listen to it. Right. That's the first goal. The second goal is if you can, within a half hour, I think is a nice spot. Within 5 minutes, probably even better, right? Because it's kind of framing your whole day and you're more likely to do it. So that'd be kind of my simple answer. But the most important one is just do it whenever it works for you. If that's 2 hours after you wake up, then that's fine. Great. It's 2 hours after you wake up. That's perfect. But again, if you have the absolute ability to refine it perfectly, I would say for most people, probably within 5 minutes, within a half hour, within 2 hours, within 5 hours, within 24 hours. So I'd answer it that way. But I like thinking that way. Again, that's our all or something strategy and making things, what matters most is things work for you. Right? London Tipton says, what if we eat because we're anxious or get bored easily? I buy ice cream to walk because it's boring. I buy ice cream to walk because it's boring. That's funny. That's like saying I've never heard that. That'd be like, I get snacks for the gym because it's boring on the treadmill. That's funny. But no, to that point. Yeah. Okay. Great question, London. I mean, I think everything's about, to me, like pretty much everyone's weight issue. If you're overweight, the heart of that issue is emotional eating, right? Because let's just technically define this. If you only ate to nourish your body, and then once you were nourished, you stopped eating, and that's the only reason you ate, then you'd be at your natural weight. The problem starts when we start eating when we're not hungry, when we don't need nourishment, and we're really eating for emotions. We're either eating to feel something or to not feel something. Real simple, right? So in London's case, she gets anxious or bored, and her best strategy, now this is completely normal in 2025 in America and in England. I work with a lot of people from England. America, Canada, England, Australia. I've worked with a lot of people, and it's crazy how it's the same stories in all of them, and again, not to say that I've worked with other countries too, and it's similar there, but especially those 4 countries, it's crazy how similar they are. But okay. So, emotional eating, you don't want to stop emotional eating. Okay. So it's not like you want to stop eating when you're anxious or bored. That's not the solution. The real solution is to find other ways to deal with your anxiety and boredom. And in America, and certainly England and Canada and in Australia, and a lot of other countries, you've been conditioned since birth to use food as your main emotional management strategy. So you have been conditioned that when you feel emotions, you run to food to deal with them, right? So either you want to feel something, you want to feel excitement, entertainment, stimulation, food. You don't want to feel depression, frustration, anxiety, boredom, food. Okay. So we've really been trained to use food to deal with our emotions. Problem is, it's not helping us deal with our emotions. It's just distracting us from them for a little while, in the bad case, right? So you're feeling bored or anxious. It's not solving your boredom and anxiety. It's just distracting you from them for a little while and then bringing you right back to it as soon as you're done eating. And in the other case, to feel things, you're feeling pleasure, stimulation for just a few moments, and then you go right back into feeling negative, right? Every time, after you eat the ice cream, now again, there's a time and a place to eat ice cream where it feels great. Okay. So I want to make that clear. But when you're abusing ice cream, let's just put it that way, right? I don't love that language, but when you're using ice cream too much and it's causing you to be overweight, it's not really helping your boredom or your anxiety, right? Because I bet a lot of your anxiety is somewhat related to your weight and your health. And so, it's not really solving your anxiety, it's just distracting you from it for a few minutes, right? So what's the answer though? That's the big point, right? So we've learned to use food to deal with our emotions. And I told you not eating when you want to emotionally eat is not the answer. The answer is, how do I deal with these emotions in a genuine way? How do I go to the source of the problem, not just deal with the symptom of it? The emotional eating is a symptom of a deeper problem. And the deeper problem is you don't know how to deal with your emotions on a genuine level. You don't know how to genuinely deal with anxiety or boredom without food. And so that's why you use food, because at the end of the day, for most of you, food is your best strategy for dealing with emotions. So for you, London, again, the ice cream becomes your best strategy in the moment to deal with the anxiety and the boredom. You don't have anything else to deal with it that you believe is going to work for you. So that's what we need to figure out. We don't need to not eat. We need to go right to the heart of it. Now, obviously, anxiety and boredom are two different things, but boredom's a little bit easier. So, I mean, boredom is really easy, folks. People tell me all the time, "Oh, I'm a boredom eating." Oh, listen, there's no boredom eating. There's only boring people. Don't get offended. But it's like, come on, man, 2025, you can't find something that stimulates you and interests you that doesn't involve food? Get a hobby. I say that literally. I'm not being sarcastic. I literally mean get a hobby. I got hobbies. Again, I lost 50 pounds 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago now. But at the same time, I started playing guitar, doing martial arts, doing yoga, meditating, reading a lot, going for hikes, walking. I mean, I started doing a lot of stuff right around that same time. And so, yeah, if you're boredom, the least of your problems, honestly, is the boredom eating. The way bigger issue is that you're living a life in 2025 where you're bored, because there's a lot of fun shit out there in the world and you don't need money to do it. Okay. A lot of free fun shit to do in life in 2025 for most of us. And we're very lucky to have that. So that's the framing I'd use for the boredom, and find real, what do you want to do? And what's genuinely interesting? Now, just as an example, right? It's like, whatever you like to do, London, you start doing that instead when you're bored, right? And it doesn't involve ice cream. And so now what happens is you are more stimulated genuinely, and you didn't eat the ice cream. So your weight's in better shape now, right? And in terms of the walk, you don't have to walk. If walking, you hate walking, then stop walking. You don't need to exercise at all, folks, to lose weight. You just need to lower your calorie consumption. So you do not need to exercise to lose weight. As a matter of fact, most of you will do better by not exercising in the beginning to lose weight, because most of you overdo it and it becomes actually detrimental to your weight loss. But again, for me, what I did when I lost over 50 pounds, I didn't work out at all. I focused all of my attention on my eating. Best decision I ever made, because here I am more than 30 years later and I still eat in a similar way. I've got strategies though that are built for me. So Just Jade says creatine is the most studied supplement, but doesn't make sense to take it if people aren't doing weights and strength, and it's cheap, but what it can improve is nominal. Yeah, sure. And I think I like that answer, Just Jade, because I think that's just an intelligent, rational thought. Again, I'm not against supplements. I'm against supplements being some magic bullet. I don't think they're ever a magic bullet, and I think sometimes people talk about them that way, but again, obviously there's different situations and stuff. And Scotland. Yep, that's true. Actually, yep, there's some Scotland Irish people too. I guess it's kind of being the same all over the world, actually. What's up, Denise? Hart says, how do I deal with cravings? I always crave a snack or something. Okay. I mean, there's a couple ways to deal with cravings, and so in programming yourself, then we kind of break everything down to strategies and mindset. So when it comes to cravings, the first thing we need to do, even before we get into mindset and strategy, is we got to break the cravings down. We can't just say, oh, how do I deal with cravings? Well, which craving? The craving at 9 o'clock at night for ice cream, or the craving in the afternoon for a cookie when you're at the office, or the craving for a coffee and a muffin as you're driving to work? Which craving are we talking about? Because they're different. This is what I mean. Dieting just like dieting does not give you the understanding you need to take control of your weight. It's too vague. So to even get on here and say, oh, how do I deal with cravings? Like, I know you mean cravings for food. And I know you even got specific and said cravings for a snack, but which one are we talking about? You can't just, oh, I'm going to deal with all my cravings. No, you're not. They're all different. The cravings on the weekend are different than the cravings on Monday. The cravings on Thursday are different than the cravings on Tuesday. Do you know that? They're all different. I mean, not all different. I mean, there's patterns, you know what I mean? But you need to get more specific anyways. That's the first question. But okay, let's just say, I'm just going to say cravings for a snack in the afternoon. Let's just say that's what let's see if you answered that. Let's just say that's your thing, right? You snack in the afternoon. You want to deal with the cravings for that. Okay. Mindset and strategy. So the first mindset piece is, A, you don't need to just get rid of the snack, right? So we got the 3 hours of weight loss. There's reduce, replace, remove. So right off the bat, we're giving ourselves some choices. The opposite of a fucking diet, right? Diet, there's no choices. There's the hard and fast, black and white, rigid rules you got to follow. If you don't follow them, you fail. Okay, fuck that. Okay. Here we're going to live in the real world, right? So let's just say you have an afternoon snacking habit and you've had it for the last 5 years. So yeah, guess what you're not going to do? You're not going to wake up tomorrow and just never snack again in the afternoon. That's dumb shit in my world. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to start thinking about strategically. I want to focus a lot of energy on it. And I'm going to say, okay, how can I deal with this snack in the afternoon? What do I want to do? And I know I got reduce, replace, remove. Now I know all you dieters just want to remove it. Okay. You can do that. That's an option, but understand that option is the hardest option. It's the most stressful one. It's the one that takes the most effort, energy, and willpower to do. So go ahead, get rid of that snack and watch how you get obsessed with it. Watch how difficult it is. Okay. I'm not saying there's not a time and place to cut things out and remove them, because there is, but I would use it sparingly. And again, you can say, well, no, Jim, I'm just going to remove it. Great. Remove it. Fine. Start off removing it. Get rid of it. So there's your one option. Okay. But if you get 3 days in and all of a sudden you're just obsessed with the snack and you're like, I can't do this anymore, I got to eat it, then remember these other two options. Okay. So fine, remove, right? But to me, the magic's in reduce and replace, and really in replace. I think replace is the best strategy out of all of them. But let's just go to reduce, because that's the easiest one. So, well, in a way, there is pros and cons to each of them. But so reducing is basically, what snack do you get? I get a bag of chips. Okay, I'm going to start eating a third less of them. I get a candy bar. I'm going to eat a third less of it. Now, I say technically that sounds easy, but it is actually harder than it seems, because your mind is going to feel weird. So to eat less, some things kind of are easier to eat less of. Okay. So for example, if you get like a scoop of ice cream, usually like 2 scoops of ice cream, it's easier to kind of reduce that a little bit. That's an easier one. When it's a package thing that you eat the whole package, it's harder to reduce it, if that makes sense. And I hope it does. So there's reduction, but to me, replacement is what I would probably focus on for snacks initially. Because the first thing I want to do, if I snack in the afternoon and I want to get control over that, what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to lower the calories of the snack, not just get rid of it, right? I know dieting says I got to get rid of it because that's going to be the fastest weight loss. Not in my world. I want to reduce the calories of it. I want to make it healthier. I want to use this as an opportunity to put something really good in my body that's going to help me out. So I would probably say, instead of getting the protein bar, candy bar, snacks, chips, whatever, I'm going to start having an apple, a banana, a pear, whatever fruit you like. That's an example. I'm going to start having an apple in the afternoon. I'm going to work on that. And maybe I'll have the apple Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I can have a regular snack Thursday, Friday. And I'll get used to that. And I'll start to optimize it and make it better. And I'll make that my afternoon routine. Now, again, I've lost half of you because I said, oh my God, forget that. Nah. I'm just going to go on my keto plan. I'll just get rid of all the snacks. Yeah. Okay, fine. You can think that. And I don't have any problem with that. But when you stop doing your keto plan, the day you quit and say, fuck this, I can't do this anymore. The day you stop tracking your calories, the day you stop doing the extreme thing, remember my voice, right? Remember that this is the way, because your diet's not going to work. I don't give a shit. Tell me your diet works. Go ahead. Anyone, I dare you. Tell me your diet works. It doesn't. It doesn't. I'm here every day. No one ever wants to argue with me. I don't think your diet works at all. I don't think you have a chance in hell of that diet working. And the reason is because you can't keep it up. So again, diets sound great on paper, but in the real world, they're very difficult to keep going, aren't they? How's your diet going? You know, I don't say it as a jerk. He says, "Hi, Jim. Hectic time. Glad to catch some of your live." Sure. It's always catch the lives when you're having a hectic time. Yeah. And he says, "Certainly doesn't work." Exactly. It just doesn't. Again, I'm not, but you got to wrap your head around that. You know, in America anyways, and I know this is in a lot of areas, you basically, when you think about weight loss, you got three options: dieting, surgery, injections. That is it. The idea that you would systematically and strategically change your mindset, lifestyle, and eating to that of a thin and healthy person, that doesn't come up. It's not really an answer. So, what's up, Uzo? Uzo says, I've gained 2 kilograms since I started eating more healthy food. LOL, what the fuck? Yeah, but I mean, it is funny. I mean, you said it, the answer's right there on what you actually said. And I know what you mean, but it's funny because literally since I started eating more healthy food, I see that as I've gained 2 kilograms since I started eating more food. The healthy part I take out for a second. This happens all the time. It's called the licensing effect. And so it's like, once you start eating something healthy, you're like, so like, oh my God, look at me. I'm eating healthy now. And then you don't pay attention to the quantity you're eating. And so it is a very normal pattern for people to start eating healthier, and then simultaneously they start eating more and they start gaining weight. So great job, Uzo, making a change in your eating to healthier, and now start focusing on the quantities. And I would suggest that now you're eating more healthy food. Keep eating the healthy food. This is funny too. Like, this happens. I'm not picking on you, Uzo, because it's just how the human brain works. We all work this way. But it's funny because you'll start eating more healthy food. So it's not like you're eating only healthy food. You're eating more healthy food, right? And so you start eating more healthy food. But again, you're so kind of focused on the fact you're eating healthy food. You're not paying attention to the quantity you're eating. And then you start gaining weight. And then your brain says, oh my God, I started eating healthy food and I start gaining weight. Fuck this. And you go back to eating the unhealthy food and you still stay the same weight anyways. So the secret is, great job adding the healthy food in, but now start looking at your calories and look at the calories of the food that's not healthy. Okay. So now that you've kind of changed your eating up a bit, look at it and start cutting away at the unhealthy food, the unhealthy eating. Start dialing that down, and your weight will go down, you know? But it's important to see that. I mean, when you say that, I know some people, they do that and like, I don't understand. They're completely flummoxed, right? Like, that's the craziest part about a dieter, is you'll do stuff and it's it's so crazy that that like, we don't look at things like kind of logically, you know. And again, I'm not picking anyone, because when it comes to weight loss with dieting, we've been conditioned to be very, very emotional, you know. And so we can't do that, because when you're really emotional, you can't make good decisions and you start getting so confused. And if your weight goes up, it's always the same reason. It's because you started eating more calories, you know, unless you start taking some certain medication or some physical things going on, perhaps. But if everyone else is the same, it's because you're eating more, and you can eat healthy food and eat more calories. Just so I know. That goes back to what we were talking about earlier, that again, that people are really underestimate their calories anyways. It's just kind of a fact of being a human. He says, I love the way you make a mockery of dieting. So funny. Well, I'm glad you enjoy that. I'm here every day making a mockery of dieting, and it gets more and more intense every day, I feel, because I just can't believe it. You know, and every day I see my clients killing it. Like, it's crazy. I will say that doing the group has been so amazing, because it's fun watching a group of people all moving in the same direction. It's crazy. And so the more of these people I see, it's just day after day, year after year, I do this, I'm just more and more convinced. Because again, I shit on dieting to the extent that I feel like I have a solution available. I would never just completely shit on something if I didn't have some answer or solution. I would never do that. And I'd just be making people feel bad. So I point this stuff out because I absolutely have a solution. If you want to find out what that solution is, make sure you go to my bio or whatever, Program Yourself Thin, or click the link in my bio. Go get the hypnosis session I give you. Watch the video I made, read the emails I send, take the goal week quiz I made you. I got a whole free universe in there of stuff you can use to get you started. And if it makes sense to you, I've got a program you can invest in, but I'm here to help you out. And I think the first step to actually getting help with your weight is to stop dieting. Stop thinking like a fucking dieter. And it's not working. It's not going to work. Diets aren't made for you to live at your goal weight. They're made for you to do some extreme shit that helps you lose weight quickly. So, anywho's. All right. Got to get out of here, though. So I hope you all have a super duper day. Again, if you're not in my world, make sure you go getting it. Go click the link in my bio. Oh, hold on a second. I see Darlene's here. She just wrote something. She said, I think the best thing I've learned of late from the program is that I am so much more aware now without realizing of the choices I make when eating. It really is easy. Well, I appreciate you saying that, Darlene. Yes, Darlene's in the program, obviously, but yes. And that's very common. I regularly hear that from people, that they say the biggest thing they learn in the program is there's so much more awareness. That's the core part of the eating, the calorie blueprint. It's awareness. That's the first step. Awareness precedes change, right? And Darlene says, my clothes are fitting better again. Yeah, great. That's awesome. Yeah, that's what happens. So again, if you want to be one of those people, get on the path, right? Click the link in my bio, go listen to the hypnosis session, watch the video, read the emails. I'm here to help you out. Check out the live. I'm here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Eastern, usually about. Happy to answer your questions. And if you miss this and like listening to it, it's also a podcast. So you can go to any podcast platform, search Program Yourself Thin, and up it pops. All right. All right, everyone, have a super day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.